Good morning, YouTube, and this is video 5 of this house that there's a lot of smoke in this apartment building. So today I'm going to show you the almost, I think, the final stage of all the repairs that we've done. So now we're going from the outside, we're going inside. These are the repairs. This is the hallway. Here there's just a little bit more repairs to be done. Now I'm gonna close the door. So this is the entrance. You see the repairs are done. All we need to do, this still has to be fixed right here. This has to be fixed. Now the ceiling, remember at the beginning there was those watermarks there. Remember that corner there, it was open, we had to fix that. Now remember that the only thing that's left to be done in this apartment here is to be sanded. You'll notice here there's some thickness. Just have to sand it. And I just want to explain, now that I have a chance, when you sand, no matter what you're sanding, when you go buy some sanding paper, I just want to let you guys know. So you got to know, let's say we want to sand this wall here, right? Now the sandpaper that we're going to use is going to be 180 or 220. Now the reason is the higher the number, the more smooth it is. So in painting terms, we call it grids. So the higher the grid of the sandpaper, the less of the smoothness is going to be. So meaning it's going to be more smooth. I don't know if you understand. But let's say you would have to sand something that's rough. Then you would have to go with a sandpaper with a lower grit, like 100, 80, or 60. To give you a perfect example, when we started sanding this apartment here, we used a 60 grit. The reason we use a 60 grit, 60 meaning it's very rough, is the walls were very, very rough. So to get it to smooth, we had to use a 60. Now from that, once that was done, then to finish it, you could go with a 150. So to get to here now, let's say we have two ways of sanding this. Either we use a sandpaper or they use a sanding block. So a sanding block, it's a sponge that there's two sides to the sanding block. I'm gonna see if I could find one. I have one here. While I'm talking, I'm gonna just show you the repairs that we've done. Now I'm not looking at the camera, just seeing if I could find the sanding block. So I'll continue talking. So remember this area here, how bad it was. Look at the top. See the top? We did the repairs. See that corner there? See all these repairs. Remember those holes, those famous holes I showed you in the beginning when I knocked with the hammer? These are just ready to sand. Now because some areas are rough, I will have to use a 120 sandpaper. And I would finish it with either a sanding block or a 220 or 180 sanding paper. Like I said before, the higher the number, the more smooth it's going to be. Remember the ceiling? We did some repairs there. Here, the only thing I did here is I sanded with my sanding machine. I'll show it to you later on. Here's the ceiling. What we did here is we sanded it, we broke off some ceiling parts, and we plastered it. Now this is ready to sand and to paint. Remember that block that was there? So the customer told me that she doesn't want me to touch it too much. So that's been repaired very lightly. Here's the corner, there's a big hole there. So this section here, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna just sand wherever I did the plaster. I'm gonna be painting it. Then I'm gonna see if there's any repairs that need to be done after, and then I'll do the repairs after. There's a ceiling. Now all the ceilings in this kitchen has been sanded with the machine with an 80 grit, meaning a rough paper, because the ceiling was very rough. So the only way to do it is with the 80 grit, 80 sandpaper. We did some repairs there. I just want to show you how, I don't know if you see this. You see, this has been sanded with the machine. We had no choice because it was very rough. Even though it's an old apartment, and really the lady, when we came here, she said to do the best we can. But I don't know, I know that some people, you know, the way I am is that when I do a job, I try to do the best I can. Always try to do the best you can, either for customers or for yourself. Don't cheat, because it doesn't take that much time to do a good job. Here they had a smoke detector, we removed it, we repaired it. So the only way we're gonna find out if it came out right is we're gonna sand it and give a coat of primer. Remember that special primer I spoke to you about? I will show you. So I just want to show you the, if I could, I'm going to show you the grids of the paper. So, just going to show you, won't be long. So this is the disc that I use with the machine. So this one here is an 80 grid. If you see here, on the box, it says 80, meaning that this is gonna be, here's a 120. So this here is gonna be more rough. So between this one and this one, this is 120. This is gonna be nice and smooth. This is 80. So I would use this one here when I wanna, let's say, sand the surface that's rough. I will do it with this one here. If you're using the machine, I'll show you the machines I used. Then if you want to smoothen it, and you tell yourself, you know, the walls are not that bad, so you know, I want to smoothen it just a little bit, but I don't want to do it by hand. I want to use a machine. So you would use this one here, 120. Like I said, they sell them 180 and 220. These ones here, they go also lower. This one here, so now you understand these ones here. This one, each pack, I think it costs $17 each pack, and you get 15 discs right here. Now to get to the walls, this is the wall again. These are the walls here. That was all the repairs. Now these ones here are ready to sand again with the final sand, and these walls are going to be ready to paint. This again, you see those spots, just left to sand. Now today I'm going to show you two pieces of equipment. Now this one here, we're going with this apartment's going to be painted with a spray gun. Now this one, I mean, it's a little bit complex to some of you, so I don't want to get into too much detail. What it is that it's an automatic, you got to know how to use this. I've been doing this for so many years, and I used to fix these machines here when I was in the painting industry for many years. Just a spray gun. I just want to go here. This is your on-off button. Well, this is your on-off button. This one here. And this is just controls the speed. Because sometimes, well, the speed, the pressure, because it's like a pump. So this is where you increase and you decrease the pressure. Because there's some areas, let's say you want to do a bathroom. The bathroom is very small, so you don't want to give too much pressure. So you would give less pressure going here and more pressure going here. Now this one here, you have to put some oil. It's a special oil, not a regular oil. You got to put a special oil. What this is, why you put it in here is because in this pump here, there's a piston. There's like a little ball, and the ball goes up and down. It pumps up and down, up and down, up and down. So if you don't put oil in here, what happens, because the paint goes in the pump and it does go in that ball, if you don't put oil here, it doesn't stay lubricated. So you need to put oil here. If you don't, it's going to get stuck. And then a lot of people, they don't understand it, right? You know, the painters that they start, and they don't get explained properly the use of this machine here. So they don't explain to them that they need to put oil here. So what happens that at one point it starts to pump, but no paint is coming out. Now they don't know why, so they try to fool around with this on off. They take out the filters, but they don't understand that if they would have put oil in here, it wouldn't have happened. So what we have to do is we have to take all these 4 screws off, and we have to get the ball going again. So a lot of people don't know this, so they rush, and then there's more problems. So if you do use this pump here, make sure that you lubricate right here. I mean, some of them don't have this, but most of them do. And then, like this is just a fast. And this little tube here, this is where it goes in the, hold on, show you, I'm all alone here. This goes in the 5-gallon. I'm gonna show you, once we start, I'll show you how it goes. You have this little hose here, this is your release. Because sometimes what happens is that your pump gets stuck, and what you do is you release it by here. So when you release it, see this is pointing down, so it just comes out of here. But I'll show you that when I start working with this pump here. Now this is a gun. Hold on, I'm just gonna take it apart to show you. Not take it apart. There you go. Here. Now when I started painting, here's a pump. Now this what it is. I mean, you see these are called tips. I don't want to get into it too much, but just so fast, these are called tips, right? So this is, you have different types of sizes, the same like the grids. You have you know, 415, 315. You have 715. So, you know, this is just the amount of pressure that you're gonna, you know, apply on the walls. So for this house here, we're gonna start with a 415, and with the baseboards, we're gonna do with a smaller bit. And not too many people know, when I was in construction, there was this, I only had maybe about 4 or 5 years experience in the painting industry, and then I had this lady, and she was you know, painting with this, with you know, something, this is mine, with something similar to this, and her gun was always jamming, right? It was jamming, and she had like over 20 years experience. And she, you know, and then she started to take the machine apart, you know, because here, I just want to show you here. In here, there's a filter, right? You unscrew it and you just wash it. So she was washing this, but she did not know in 20 years that she was a spray. We call her ourselves, or the spray man, spray woman. She did not know that in here there's a filter too. So when I took it apart and I showed her how stuck it was, she's, oh there, I don't believe it. For over 20 years I was a painter, I never knew there was a filter in here. So for you that don't, for you know, YouTubers that don't know that there's a filter in here, there is a filter in here. You got to remove it and you got to clean it. If you don't clean it, the paint will not come out. So I just wanted to let you guys know. It's very important that you keep your equipment clean. This pump here I had lent it because I didn't use it for a couple years, so I lent it to a friend of mine. Now if you see the condition that he gave it to me, I mean it wasn't this it wasn't that clean, but it wasn't this dirty. But you know, it doesn't matter, it could still be clean. And the friend I lent it to, his name was Greg, and thanks to him that I learned quite a bit of stuff in painting. He gave me the chance to learn on the job. This guy here, when I started, he had maybe about 30 years experience in painting. So Greg, if you hear this, if you see this video, thank you very, very much for taking the chance to explain to me how the equipment works. Thank you very, very much, my friend. Thank you. So let me get on to continue here. So I just want to show you again the walls here. Now I want to just show you fast the equipment that I use for plastering to do your repairs. So this is what I use. So these are the two. When you're doing small repairs, this is what I use. So you mix, like I showed you in the other video, with these two. Then you apply it on here, right? Now it's very important, when you want to do repairs that are wide, like these ones here, right? When you do, let's say, your first repairs, you use these two. Then when you want to go bigger, you use this one here. Then when you want to do these big ones that we call the finish coat. Now you cannot do it with this. You see, it's much smaller, because what's going to happen when you do your repairs, you're going to get a line over here, and you're going to get a line over here, and then no matter what you do, you're still going to get the line. So you got to use something. See this one? This one's bigger. But when you finish it, there's a way. I can't show you now, but I hope one day I will show you exactly how it has been done. But if you follow me on YouTube, just ask and I'll do it. So these are the tools that I use. Make sure that your tools are always clean. If they're not clean, they're gonna always, you know, you're not gonna get a good result. So always clean your tools before and after you finish using it. So let's go on. This was one of the walls. This is finished again. I don't know if you see it here. This here, this is rough. So it just has to be sanded. So to sand this, I'm probably going to start with maybe a 180 and finish it with a 150. But I got to find that sponge, because all my finished repairs, I do it with the sponge. I don't use no more sandpaper, because with the sandpaper you can't really control. With the sponge it does a nicer finish. With the sandpaper it just removes it too much. So now this room here, yesterday, what we did is we did all the repairs. Meaning, when I say we, it's me and me. There you go. The corners. So this room here, it's ready to sand one more time and to apply the paint. Most of the repairs has been done. I see this more imperfection right there. It's going to be fixed. This here. I just want to show you this one. Remember the first video? Remember here? Remember that wall? Look how beautiful it looks. Look at that. Look at what a job. But you know, when you take your time and you know what you're doing. But with this video, I hope it shows you, how you gotta just take your time, please. This was a ceiling that I repaired there. But now this one here, the bottom here, it's just ready to sand very, very lightly. I'm gonna turn off the video, and I want to see if I can find that sponge. I think it's very important that I show you. So just let me turn off the video for a couple of minutes and I'll come back. Thank you.